I just have a quickie video for you this morning, but with some super important stuff. At least I think so. So let me start with I have questions for Elon Musk. I just have three. And maybe you have questions too. You could put those in the comments below, and I'll add them maybe to a bigger list of suggestions later. But let's start. I only have three questions. What is your new estimate, Elon, for the rollout of robotaxi? And can you put a little more detail on it so that we feel like it's really going to happen? I'm not being critical here. I'm still 100% in. I haven't traded a single share since, I don't know, what was that, last September or something, when I tried to do a one-day thing. Anyway, what is the estimate? What's the new deal? Give us the new situation and maybe even a little explanation as to what you've been doing in the meantime to, why it's taken so long. It would really be fun to know that. Number two, where are the 50,000 cars? I mean, you made 50,000 more cars in the first quarter than you shipped. Where are they? Are they in inventory? Are they on the way? Are they on ships? Just something, just a little hint of what happened there with those 50,000 cars. Number three, what happened to the energy numbers in quarter one? I mean, 8 gigawatt hours, is that it? I mean, we had, 14, 12, 13, 11. I mean, it was so low. It just deserves an explanation, just a note, just a quick idea on X. Yeah, we did this, something. All right, listen. What was out today? What was the total jobs number? And while Larry and I, assuming that Kathy Wood does have her program later today, assuming that she puts it out, Larry will then analyze it, and he and I will talk in detail about all the numbers right now. But I think the employment numbers are key, and I think inflation numbers are key. I think those are the two things the Fed cares about. And so I wanted to do a deep dive into the inflation numbers this morning. Nobody else is going to do this, and nobody else is getting it right, quite frankly. So let me just explain. The total jobs for January and February combined was 27,000. Oh, wait a minute. Why aren't I giving you the 180,000 or whatever it was from this month? Because I don't care. The number makes no sense. It's going to be revised down, as it was last month and the month before. Now that they've been revised, and I know there can still be one more revision of the February number, but for those 2 months, we had a total of, here we go, wait a minute, 27,000 jobs for those 2 months. That was about 13,500 jobs per month. I'm sorry, yeah. And that fits my expectation exactly. If you believe today's number and you take the 178,000 added to the 27,000 and divide by three, you get 68,000 a month. Now that would be above my high end expectation where I said it's not going to be above 40. So by the way, just to give you the original number, the original setup, it's like I said it'll be around 20,000 a month average, and that the high will be, some months they might be 40. Some months, I would say, some months could even be 60, but then other months could be 0 or negative 20. But they're not going to be negative 100, and they're not going to be positive 178. So this number will be revised down. All right, so if you do that, you get to 68,000. That's still too high. It's going to come down. Then I'm sticking to my number. I'm sticking 40,000 should be the high pretty much any month. Yeah, it can happen. There could be an oddball 60 or 70. It could be actually a serious number. But I've done this math. Hey, it's back of the napkin math, right? It's not a sophisticated analysis with you. No, it's back of the napkin. You look at the number of people that are being deported, taken out of the country versus the number of people that were being brought into the country. You look at those and you say, well, how many of those people were workers? How is that impacting the labor force? Number two, you look at the number of federal employees being dismissed and you say, okay, that's another impact on the economy. Now, what about the overall economy? What kind of growth are we looking at for the actual economy? Oh, it's strong growth, probably 2%, 2.5% growth. All right, add that all together, put it in the, okay, that's where I got my number. Now, I started making this claim when? Oh, yeah, at the very beginning of the Trump administration, back in March of last year. I said, you can't grow the employment numbers if you don't have employees to grow the numbers, and if you're cutting the federal employment by so much. Because remember, that's where the previous president, I don't know, some guy, Biden, where he was getting a lot of his numbers was increasing the federal government employment. Big numbers, huge numbers. Well, now we've decreased them. I don't have the number right in front of me, but it's around 350,000 have been sent home. And then we have, you know, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, who knows what the real number is of immigrants who have either been sent home, forced to go home, or self-deported. Now, again, I started making this claim back in March of last year. If you follow the channel, you'll remember that. And I said, nobody else, nobody else. No, not one. You find me anybody that was saying that in March last year. Find me anybody that was saying in April of last year. Find me anybody that was saying in July of last year. No, it took them months and months and months. But now, according to Grok, the last 14 months, which encompasses the entire Trump administration that would matter. You can't count even February of last year, but if you start with March of last year, the average number of employees added every single month has been 15,000. Well, look at that. Now, the unemployment rate stayed at 4.3%. It went to 4.4, went down to 4.1. It's been da. But you know how long it's been at 4.3 roughly? Since August of 2024. Now, that would tell me that the economy is running at perfection. If you dip down to 3.5%, which we did during some of the Biden years, what do you get? You get too many jobs for the people that are out there looking for them, and you get labor rates going crazy. You get that hot economy, but you also have shortages that are meaningful in terms of running a business. Even at 4.3%, employers are still complaining, especially small business employers are complaining they can't get enough workers with the skills they need. Now, the per hour rates increased well above inflation at 3.7%. So that's good. That's exactly where you want it to be. I mean, you have to give the Fed some credit, I guess. Maybe they're just lucked into it. But if you got wage growth growing at 3.7 and you got inflation at 2.7, and the folks are getting 1% a month richer, this is exactly what Trump wanted. It's exactly what you would want in any economy. And I think it's actually more than that because the inflation rate is overstated. Okay, so Truflation does their own analysis of employment, and they agree directionally with the Fed numbers. And once again, I will claim that the Fed can lower rates, and they should lower rates. These numbers have all been happening. All of these 15,000 average per month has been happening while lowering the rates significantly. It's time to do more. Now, what about all these claims about the college students and they're underemployed, they're unemployed? Oh my gosh, they can't find a job. Of course, I'm just, what are these whiners? Well, okay. So the unemployment rate for a college degree or higher has been flat for the same period at 2.3%. And that's, of course, that's not just recent grads, that's everybody that's got a college degree. Now, is college still worth it? Well, some college is still worth it because guess what? Those people are making a lot more money than anybody else. It's significant, and they're also unemployed at a lower rate, around 2.3% compared to the overall number, which I just gave you, is 4.3%. So what would you rather have? Okay. Anyway, nothing about this is shocking or new, but let's just talk to those young people that are getting out of college right now a little bit more. Business and health. So these guys have been smart. They're smarter than anybody's giving them credit for, especially on X with all these people whining and complaining. Business and health are number 1 and number 2 as far as where grads are getting their degrees. And they're experiencing low rates of unemployment, almost no underemployment, especially like on business. If they're getting degrees in accounting or finance, they're getting employed. Health, nurses, and that's it. They're getting employed really fine. Okay, but that's number 1 and number 2. I forget what the percentage is, but I want to say it's around 20 between those two, maybe around 25% of all degrees. Okay, but then what comes next? Oh, next comes social sciences and history. Well, yeah, you could guess that it's about 7%. You could guess that those people are having much higher rates of unemployment and underemployment. All right, now let's just talk for another minute about inflation. Truflation here says that overnight it was 1.336. That is a little bit, a tad up from yesterday. Goods inflation, 3.266. That's down a little bit from where it's been recently. Core is up just a little tiny bit to 0.892, but under 1%. Services at 0.316, so close to zero. And PCE at 2.234. Now, the services number being down, what would you think that would suggest? Oh, maybe there's a little bit of slowness in services. We'll check that out in a minute. If I no, yeah, I'll find it in a second. I'm sorry. Anyway, but I wanted to do a deep dive into Truflation for just 1 second, and that's on food and beverages. That's what everybody's keying on, right? Oh, my food bill. Oh, when I go to the grocery store, it's horrible. Okay, so you got on the Truflation thing, you get food away from home and food at home. The overall total of food away from home and food at home is deflating. It's going down by 0.24%. The food at home is deflating by 0.65%, and only food away from home is above the line, and that is only above the line at 0.6%. That's a way down from what it was last year, but it's not deflationary. But the other two, they're deflationary. So what are the people complaining about out there? Well, that again, this is the problem, is people are complaining about something maybe they shouldn't be complaining about. All right, so then we get the services PMI this morning. That would be the last thing I'm going to report on. We have the basic materials and registering the strongest growth of all 7 monitored sectors. So basic materials doing quite well. Solid expansion of output in the industrial sector, but the consumer services activity falls at the fastest pace since August 2022. So per my suggestion a minute ago about the inflation being low in that area, well, there you go. There's what you're looking at. So March data pointed to higher levels of business activity in 5 out of the U.S. sectors, but in almost cases, the pace of expansion slowed a bit compared to the previous month. Basic materials is the only segment to record an improved performance since February, with production volumes rising for the first time in 4 months. Moreover, the rate of output growth was the steepest since October 2025. There was higher levels of output, the highest levels of output that have been recorded since February 2024. Now, healthcare, which is doing well, according to all the numbers, healthcare and financials also experienced a little bit of a slowdown in activity growth. With that, the latter, the area of financials, experienced its weakest growth since April 2025, but still growing. Producers of consumer goods pointed to only a modest rise in output volumes, but it's still going up. Business operating in the technology sector indicated a reduction in activity. And so that's an unusual one. Consumer services was the weakest performing group, and it was showing a negative, no growth, negative situation. So there you go. We have got the services category is off just a little bit this month compared to what it's been, but still showing growth overall. All right, that's all I got for you this morning, except, of course, I want you to buy. I know everything's all set up different this morning because I'm just trying to get the heck out of Dodge. I'm really behind. Okay, I really need to say goodbye. Buy the books, buy the books. That's all. That's all I have time for.